In fact, in my opinion, a shoe rotation is just like a toolbox. Let me explain. Hey everyone, welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex, and today's video is all about shoe rotations. It's something that someone suggested in the comments a few videos back, and so today I will give you some ideas about how to build your shoe rotation and examples of shoe rotations going from one shoe to a 5 shoe rotation. But first, what is a shoe rotation? That's probably one of the worst jokes I did on this channel. But why is your shoe rotation a toolbox? Well, simply because, just like in a toolbox, in your shoe rotation, each shoe is supposed to serve a purpose, just like a tool in a toolbox. So you have shoes for race day, shoes for tempo days, and you have all of the type of shoes. Hard days for shoe reviewers. This one will have a very hard Eurometer score, I guess. First rotation that we want to discuss is the rotation where you have only one shoe. In this case, I would suggest to go for something very versatile, an all-round type of shoe in which you can go for easy days, recovery days, but you can also pick up the paces and who knows, maybe even race in it, even though that's maybe not the ideal case, but that's possible. If I were to set up a rotation like this, I would myself probably go for something like the Hoka Mach 4. It's very versatile, it can go easy, it can go endurance, it picks up the pace quite nicely. So yeah, for a one shoe rotation, my choice would be the Hoka Mach 4. Now for a 2 shoe rotation, I would recommend to build something around 2 different types of paces. So everything that is recovery, easy, even endurance would be for one pair of shoes, and then everything that be tempo, intervals and race day for another pair of shoes. In my case, if I were to build a shoe rotation with 2 shoes, I would pick something like the Puma Velocity for everything that's recovery, easy and endurance, and for everything, you know, tempo and higher paces, I would probably pick something like the Endorphin Speed. The Puma Velocity could be actually replaced by something like the Endorphin Shift. It's the shoe that I had in mind, so it would be Endorphin Shift for easy stuff and Endorphin Speed for higher paces. But for some reason I cannot find my Endorphin Shift in all the shoe boxes that I have, so I picked the Velocity and it could do the job very well as well. Alright, now let's jump to what I think is pretty much the sweet spot of shoe rotations. So rotations made of 3 pairs of shoes and 4 pairs of shoes. And for me, they're pretty similar, so you'll see that in a second. But before that, if you're enjoying this video and the content of the channel in general, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, join the little community that's growing at an insane pace here on the channel. It's a big boost of help for the channel and a big boost of motivation for myself. So thank you very much for doing that. All right. Rotations made of 3 shoes. So here I would suggest to have 1 shoe dedicated to easy recovery paces, 1 shoe for endurance tempo type of paces, and a 3rd pair of shoes for intervals and race day. And yes, I would recommend to use the same shoes for intervals and race day. There's a little caveat to that, but let's say that it's what I recommend for now. Back with the toolbox, because remember, a good shoe rotation is like a toolbox. You pick a shoe like a tool for one purpose, or at least a set of purposes. So first pair of shoes, that would be for easy recovery days, and in my case I would go again with the Hoka Mach 4. Then for everything that would be endurance, tempo type of paces, and maybe intervals. If I want to spare a bit my race day shoe, for instance, if it's brand new and I want to race it pretty much brand new, which is an option, why not? And in this case I would go for the Saucony Freedom 4. And for the 3rd pair of shoes, essentially I would pick the Vaporfly, because yes, it's my race day shoe and I'm also doing some interval work in it myself. Now I have a bit of a trick for the rotation made of 4 pairs of shoes. And we'll use the same 3 pairs as for the rotation made of 3 pairs of shoes. But going back from race day intervals, we keep the Vaporfly. Then for everything that's tempo, we keep the Freedom 4. But then instead of having just one pair for everything that's easy, recovery, endurance, we will split this into two categories. One made of jogging, endurance type of paces, and we keep the Hoka Mach 4. But then on top of that, we add a layer, which is everything that is, very easy, recovery, and all those jogs where you just want to think about nothing and jog. And in this case, I think I would go for the Invincible, with the caveat of the shoe being maybe a touch unstable. So on very tired legs, maybe I would prefer something like the Endorphin Shift. But for the purposes of this video and of the rotation made of 4 pairs of shoes, I would pick the Invincible. And finally, last but certainly not least, let's discuss about the rotation made of 5 pairs of shoes. Can you go above 5 pairs of shoes? Yes, of course you can. But I think for the purposes of this video, a rotation made of 5 pairs of shoes is very good to be discussed, and that's the max we can get. So for a rotation made of 5 pairs of shoes, I would suggest to have 1 pair dedicated to recovery runs, 1 pair for endurance type of stuff, jogging and so on, 1 pair for tempo work, 1 pair for intervals, and 1 pair for race day. Essentially, we take the 4 categories of the 4 shoe rotation and we simply break into the race day interval category, and that makes intervals and race day into 2 separate categories. Now, when you have a range of shoes that is that broad, for the recovery day, you can introduce something a bit different. For instance, you can go for very high drops with a Mizuno shoe if you want to, save your Achilles, calves, and so on recovery days. But at the opposite, you also have people that actually enjoy 0 drop shoes for recovery type of stuff to stretch the calves, and then you can go for an ultra shoe, for instance. In my case, I picked something a bit different. I picked a trail shoe, but that has a very pronounced rocker. That's the Asics Trabuco Max, because I actually enjoy running very easy, very slow, very recovery type of workouts in this shoe. For the endurance category of the 5 shoe rotation, I picked the New Balance Rebel V2. I think it's working nicely at the endurance paces. For me, it's everything about 4:30, 4:15 minutes per kilometer, something around that 6:45, 7:15 minutes per mile. And so the Rebel V2 for endurance category of the shoe rotation. Now, no surprise here, but for the tempo work of this category, I'm picking the Saucony Freedom 4. As you know, I really enjoy it. It was a great surprise, and you can go check my first impression review here upper right hand corner, or rather here upper right hand corner, and the shoe battle against the Rebel V2. That can be interesting for all of you, but yeah, definitely the shoe that I would use for tempo purposes in this 5 shoe rotation. For the intervals, no surprise, I would go again with the Vaporfly. I'm doing most of my interval workouts with the Vaporfly, and it's working very nice for me, so I would stick with it. And that's for the intervals category of the shoe rotation. And for race day, and I mentioned it in the carbon shoe battle, you can go and check it out here in the link. I think I would go with the Asics MetaSpeed Sky. I'm really enjoying the shoe. It's working very well for me, and so race day, depending on the specific type of race. So I would not run a marathon in it, but for 10K, 21K, that would be my shoe of choice in this 5 shoe rotation. Alright guys, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this very different video, and now it's your turn. In the comments, let me know what is your shoe rotation, how many pairs of shoes are you using on a consistent, frequent basis in your rotation, and what are the models. So this is it. I think it can be very interesting to discover your answers and your rotations in the comments. Very much looking forward to it. And in the meantime, enjoy your run today, your ride or your swim. Go beyond your limits, and most importantly, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.